Mwah! Hey, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show, and I've got a Frankenstein of a radio. This is the Retekess TR608, and I did a show a couple of shows ago asking my viewers whether I should review one of these because the reviews have been mixed from it's a piece of junk to it's an okay radio. And at the time when it came out on Amazon, it was $39.95. So I held off. I thought, well, let me see what other people think of it. So I held off. $39.95. I've gotten their V115, which was an excellent radio, AM and FM, shortwave, MP3 player. This is AM, FM, shortwave, airband, no MP3 player. So the consensus was on my video where I was asking for inputs, about 60 to 70% of the people says, yeah, try it. We want to find out whether it's gotten any better because it came out late last year. So it's been out for almost a year now. And maybe they have fixed things. So I ordered one. Originally, Amazon told me it was going to take a week to get it. So, okay, it's going to take the week. It came in 2 days. And this is going to be kind of a long show. And it came in this plastic wrapper from Sino, California. Didn't come in an Amazon box. Didn't come from Amazon warehouse. So I'm thinking that's one of their distribution points for Retekess. So it came directly from Retekess. So then I got kind of going worried about that. I'm like, okay, is this a return? Is it new stock that they fixed things? Well, we'll see. So let's go on. Let me open it up here. I've tested it for a couple hours already. Just comes with the radio. Kind of strange. The radio is double wrapped, almost like it was repackaged. I've had it out, of course. There's the manual. Pretty lengthy manual, but the grammar is not too good. A lot of things hard to understand. Some things missing. I'll talk about that later. Okay, so here it is. Get up close to the camera. Got a clock. You're seeing the clock right now. It's turned off. Okay, so let's go around. Try to set it so you can see it. Telescopic antenna, about 2 inches. Jeez. It's about 24 inches long, which is way too short for shortwave. Kickstand in the back. On this side, we got the carrying strap built in. You'd have to cut this off to get it off. And this is the DC input if you want to use a adapter, and headphones jack. On this side, we've got kind of hidden behind this bar, the tuning knob. Now, we've got small buttons. This is the numeric keypad for direct tuning. This is the frequency button. You hit the frequency button and you you punch in the frequency you want. Here's the manual tuning here. So it's got 2 tuning methods. Now, this tuning dial doesn't have any detents. So like if you're tuning the medium wave band, you can easily pass the station and kind of have a little problem getting right on the station. Where use these, it's much easier. These are the 2 memory buttons, memory minus, memory plus, volume control buttons again. Down here we have the memory button to get into memory mode, the clear button to clear whatever entry you've done. It has an alarm on and off, scan to scan the band and store in memory. The meter button, when you're in the shortwave band, it will step through the international broadcast meter bands and the band select. AM, FM, so on. Now, speaker, here's the speaker. It's kind of small, but it's a small radio. But it's no smaller, I think, I can't see it down in there, than like on the V115. And the audio from the V115 is great. The audio from this, yeah, not so great. It's okay, not so great. Okay, let's turn it on. And, oh, then up here is the lock. Whoop, the lock sync sleep button right here. And then this is the power button. Whoa, let's turn that down. One of the Frankenstein functions is if you've set the volume to something less than 20, and you turn it off and you turn it back on, it comes on at 20. That's why that was so loud. Turn it back down. The lighting here is not good for me. The backlight button is right there. So now the backlight's on, and my camera, there we go. Very good display. As far as the frequency, that's easy to read. Now some of the other nomenclature, a little small. Especially like, for instance, if I hit the lock button and hold, there's the lock indication. It's tiny. Now I got the radio real close to the camera, so it's not hard to read. Take it out of lock. Okay. Oh, it's still in lock. There, it's out of lock. So there it's out of lock. So it's showing shortwave 3.145. Tunes at 5 kilohertz. Okay, now let me look at my notes, because I got a lot of notes about this radio. A lot of quirky things. Okay. Again, the price was $40. Now it's $20 on Amazon with free shipping if you have Prime. Where, for instance, the V115 I was talking about is only $25. It's a great looking radio. That's what really caught my eye when I saw the ad. It really looks professional looking. Really nice looking. It's a DSP receiver, so he does have a semi-muting while tuning. Some real quirky thing about that. 4 bands, AM, FM, shortwave, air band. The shortwave band goes from 2.3 megahertz to 22.6 megahertz. Okay, now the one thing that a couple people seriously complained about, and I can understand why, is the batteries. Now here is the battery compartment right here. Takes 3 AA batteries, and you will notice it is completely closed because I was able to get my batteries in. The problem is there's a battery here, there's a battery back in here, and this is the third battery. This battery, for some people, they couldn't get it to go in. I had a little problem, but I just carefully pushed and it went in, locked in place. Now, I don't know if it show up, but see that spring there? That spring is completely compressed. What I was thinking about doing is actually taking and cutting a few windings off that spring so it's not so tight. And then I think it'll be perfect. So I was able to get it in as is, and the cover fits on easily, so I don't have a problem with the batteries. So that's one of the first Frankenstein characteristics some people have run across. The buttons, as I mentioned before, are quite small, and I usually have trouble with these small buttons, like on the Texan radios. I don't have any problem with these, not at all. So that's not a problem for me. The I'll see if I can show you again. If I turn it on here. Oh, I got in a sleep mode. I hate when I get in a sleep mode. If you press and hold the power button too long, it puts you into a sleep mode. Okay, I got it on anyway. And see, it came back up with a loud volume. Okay. If you look at it at like this angle, not straight on, this angle, the display is bright, even, and it's very easy to read. If the backlight is off, it's pretty much easy to read at any angle. But if the backlight is on, see, I'll push and hold it, keep it on, and you tilt it, you see the display disappears. So you can't view it, and the backlight went off again. Thought I had it. Should push and hold, stay on. So now, right now it's sitting straight up and down. You can't see it. You barely can see it. And then that light goes off. Come on, backlight. Okay. If you tilt it back, although my overhead lights are washing out the backlight, it's perfect to read. So that's another little Frankenstein thing. I usually use my radios that have the kickstand sitting back on the kickstand. Therefore, the angle is perfect. That's the way they designed the display. Okay. Now, some people have reported in their reviews that they get FM bleeding over on the shortwave band. I've done a couple of tests. I have not run into that problem at all. And I have about 30 or 40 strong FM stations in my area. Matter of fact, one is only 5 miles from me. And other radios I have had bleed in. This one, I don't. I don't have that problem. So I don't have that Frankenstein problem. Now, there is no, and even if there was, it's going to be real small. There is no, see, that is the sleep indicator because I held the power button on too long, so it's in sleep mode. There is no battery indicator, status of the battery, none. Not a big deal, but usually you get that, and it's not something I usually leave out. So that's that. When the doctor put this Frankenstein together, he left that out. Now, the tuning knob can be a little confusing because this knob right here, it's used for tuning. Notice the backlight comes on when you do anything. And if you've hit the volume button, like I'll hit the volume button right now, it's used, well, you got to do it real quick. It's used for volume control. I probably didn't get that on camera. And it's in that mode for a few seconds. I'll show you again. Volume. See it? Volume changing. And then after a few seconds, if you stop, I'll stop. That goes away. The volume indicator goes away. And now you're in tuning mode again. Another little Frankenstein thing. Okay, moving on. Oh, there's a little quirk about, well, there's two little quirks. One is they don't tell you how to change from 9 kilohertz tuning steps to 10. Luckily, Gillis on his show showed us on his first show how to do that. You push and hold the band button, and then you can select either 9 or 10 kilohertz, which I've done 10 kilohertz for the US. Not in the documentation. So that would drive somebody nuts. Now, one other quirk is when I'm in, let's go to AM band. AM band. If you use the keypad to tune an AM station, say I want 970. So I hit the frequency button right here. I hit that, and then I put in 970. Okay, there's 970. And then it comes up 972. Let me turn the volume down. See, the audio is not bad if you just kind of play it at normal volume. If you're in a noisy area and you got to turn the volume up, it gets a little distorted. Not bad, but a little distorted. Now watch. So I'm at 972. I dialed in 970. And now it's tuning with that 2 stuck on the end instead of a 0. The way I get out of that mode is I just use the memory button. That gives me one of my memory locations that I've saved before, which is the proper frequency. And now when I tune, it's okay. Another little Frankenstein thing. So I think I've gone through everything. The question is, do I want to do some more tuning, and do I want to do a show showing tuning the various bands? I'm going to kind of leave it up to you, because maybe at this point you're not interested in this radio at all. Now what I will do, and it will take a few minutes, I will go to the Shortwave Band and I'll hit the scan button. I'm going to put the antenna up. Now the antenna does swivel 360, but it is really stiff, so you kind of have to be careful. I got to be careful here I don't break it off. And then you can fold it up. It doesn't go such that when you set it down that this is completely vertical. It's still off on an angle. So that's what it is. So now I'm going to extend the antenna. It's about 2 feet long, and I got one section stuck. There we go. And so now I'm going to do a scan of the shortwave band. It's automatic scan and store. Push and hold, and there it starts. It's going to take about 5 minutes, so I'm going to set it down. It is 6:50 a.m. here in Clearwater, Florida. Shortwave conditions as far as reception is terrible. Even on my big Grundig 800 with a 31-foot vertical antenna connected, I struggle to get anything, especially in the morning. So I won't be surprised if I don't get anything. I typically do get a couple of Spanish-speaking stations which are probably nearby. They're probably in Cuba, Puerto Rico, or South Florida. I do get those. Maybe 2 or 3 on the big radio, big antenna. I don't know if I'm going to get anything on this guy. Now, I have seen some other shows where they've gotten stations throughout the world and at various times of the day. So we're scanning now. It takes about 5 minutes. I'm up to 7.4 megahertz. Another Frankenstein thing. And it's kind of a Mox Nix. My other radios, they have this scan and store function. What some of them do is they will start scanning, and as they find a signal, whether it's a station or just noise, they will store it in a memory location. And say they have storage of 50. This has a storage of 30 memory locations for each band, total 120. What other radios will do is, in my Grundig 750 is that way. It will scan and it'll start storing, using up its memory bank. Once the memory bank is filled, it will stop scanning. And the problem I have with that radio is it automatically starts at the low end of the band and starts scanning. And if it gets a lot of noise, not stations, noise, and stores them in memory, it will run out of memory locations before it gets up to like 8 megahertz. So it never scans above 8 megahertz. Now, some of the radios have the option to scan just an international band and not the whole spectrum. This one scanned the whole spectrum. I think my Grundig scans the whole spectrum. So consequently, depending on conditions, you may never get anything stored in memory above a certain frequency. Now, one way I cheat is I take the antenna off if I want the upper band, take the antenna off until it gets above, say, 7 megahertz, and then I put it on and let it continue to store so it doesn't waste the memory locations. This one overwrites itself. So when it gets 30 stations and or noise that it uses up the memory location, it starts back at 0 and starts overwriting what it stored before. So it's kind of the opposite effect, which the scan and store functions on all the radios are kind of iffy because they catch a lot of noise and they miss a lot of weak stations. So I just use that function to see if there's anything out there at all. I typically don't use it to store. Another option, which you can use on this one, if you hit the tuning knob and hold it, or tuning button and hold it, it will scan until it finds a station and stop. Won't store it, just stops. So that's another method. It's up to about 20 megahertz. I'm going to let it finish while I check my notes to see if I missed anything. No, I think I've covered everything. If you have any other comments, please leave them. If you want me to do some more testing of reception, let me know. Otherwise, I may not do any more. I might do the test comparing it to the Grundig 800 just as a reference, not trying to say this radio is better than that one, just as a reference. So we're almost done now. Okay, we're done. So we'll turn the volume back up. Go to station. .84. Actually, there's 2 stations. Let me see if I can get rid of one of them. No. Okay, let's go on. Another station. 5.02. Spanish, probably close by. Another one at 6. This is the Radio Habana. That's noise. Noise. Turn the volume up a little more. $12, nothing. So there was nothing between 5.89 and 12. 14, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, so maybe that's just background music while he's talking. That's coming in clear. So I got 1, 2, 3. Anything there? Yeah, 4. So I got 4 stations below 7 megahertz, which is typical for me in the morning. I get stations below 7 megahertz and nothing above. So I got 4 stations. To me, that's pretty damn good for this little tiny antenna in my noisy workshop environment. So I'm impressed with the shortwave coverage. I didn't get any FM bleed over, so maybe they have improved things. Maybe I just got lucky. What do you think? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this show, please give me a thumbs up and have a great day. Bye-bye.